We're going to start first by giving the floor to Coach Candrea and letting him tell us about the 4 recruits that we signed last week.
Thank you, Danny. Well, yes, we had, I think, a really good recruiting season. Most of these kids were committed earlier before the pandemic, so that was a good thing. But I think we're bringing in a class that's going to give us a really good addition to our solid freshman class that we brought in last year. So we were looking for a little bit of help. We brought 4 kids in. First young lady is Paige Demler. She's a left-handed hitter, left-handed thrower, outfielder from San Diego, California. And I think she's really got a lot of upside. She's going to be could be a 5-tool player. I mean, she's does a lot of good things, was kind of a late bloomer, but I think offensively she's going to bring some pop to the outfielders that we already have. Our outfield primarily right now is lots of speed. And so I think she'll be a good addition to this group. And we're excited to have her. She's from Ranch Buena Vista High School and played for the SoCal Breakers in travel ball. We're bringing in a pitcher, Maddie Elish, right-handed pitcher from Crown Point, Indiana. If the name sounds familiar, her sister pitched for Oregon and is now at Texas, and has had a very solid career. And I think Maddie is a very competitive young lady with a really good softball IQ, spins the ball quite well, and I think still is developing, still getting stronger, but she knows how to compete and knows how to get people out, and I think we're really excited to have her join us. We have a middle infielder, Amber Tobin. She's a left-handed hitter, right-handed thrower from Sierra Canyon High School, lives in Northridge, California, and she's a kid that's got good speed and can swing the bat with a little bit of power. Was ranked fairly high, I think, in the recruiting class of 21. So we're excited to have her. She plays for the Mercado's SoCal Athletics, and I think will be a very good addition. And then we have an outfielder from the SoCal Choppers. That should sound familiar because Jess Harper came from that organization, and Jesse Fonts. And her name is Allie Enright. She's basically a right-handed thrower, plays center field. Will probably be able to play any position in the outfield, but definitely a power hitter. And so I think we brought in some good help with our freshman class, who I've been really impressed with this fall. And so, you know, I'm not one that likes to brag on a class until they actually play some games. And I think this group is going to be a good addition to what we have.
Thanks, Coach. We'll open up for questions. Whoever wants to go first here can start us off. Go ahead, Ryan from AZ Desert Swarm.
So you just mentioned you were impressed by your freshman class. What impresses you about them?
Very athletic. You know, a lot of times freshmen will come in and really look like freshmen in the fall. And the one great thing this fall is we got a chance to inter squad a lot. So they got a chance to face some good pitchers with our senior class. And I thought they competed very well. You know, they showed me a lot more consistency than most freshmen do. They kind of, when they got here, they were prepared and they kind of fit in very well. Very hardworking group. And I think the thing to me is very athletic. I think they bring some power, bring some speed, and I think they can play the game at a high level. So if that carries over into the spring, I think we'll be very excited about this group.
And their size, when we watched your scrimmage a couple weeks ago, really stood out to me. Is that unusual for a freshman class to be that physically imposing like that?
You know, I don't know whether it's just the chicken that they're eating nowadays or what, but they grow them, you know, they grow them bigger. And I kind of look back at, 20, 25 years ago, and yeah, this group would have been monsters compared to what we used to bring in. So yeah, they physically they are very gifted. I mean, strong, athletic. Um, they all swing the bat pretty much with good power. Other than Paris Chica, who's more of a short gamer, and um, uh, but Carly Scoopin impressed me probably as much as anyone this fall with her ability to hit good pitching. Doesn't strike out a lot and hit some monster shots. I mean, she's a very strong, athletic kid. So I was really, really excited about that. I think Julia is the other first baseman, very athletic, probably the best defensive player that I've seen at that position. Very quick release, quick hands, can finally throw some people out at second base in a bunt situation. And I think she's improving a lot offensively right now. We've been in the cages the last couple of weeks, and I think that was really good timing to be able to get a chance to work with some of these kids. And I kind of like to let them just hit, when we first start and we're on the field and play all these inter squad games. And so we had a good chance of seeing them play quite a few games, and then kind of evaluate what kind of things that we can accomplish between now and January to refine their swings. And the one thing that I've noticed is that they're all really good at picking things up. So very quick learners. Yeah, it's been so much fun. I mean, this fall was really a fun time for me, and I don't know whether it was just the excitement of getting back on the field after sitting around for all these months, but truthfully, it was just a really good fall, and usually good falls will result in a good season. So now we got to keep our fingers crossed and hope that we get a chance to play 56 games. And I think every one of these kids has a chance to help us a little bit.
Now we'll go to PJ Brown from the Arizona Daily Star.
Hi, Coach.
Hi.
I want to go back a little bit to your recruiting class. When you started recruiting them, as you projected out, what types of things were you looking for? And where do these four fit into that vision of yours?
Well, every year kind of changes a little bit, but the one constant that we look for is high character kids that understand the program and the tradition and the pillars and the things that the A represents. And to me, that's pretty kind of the foundation of my pyramid anymore. I used to go out and recruit kids, and the first thing I would look at is their skill set. And what I have found most recent, the last 10 years is the ability to develop a good culture. And we're looking for kids that are good, not just on the field, but off the field academically. And I think all these kids fit in that mold. They're good students. They're good people. They come from good families. And, they've all played the game at the highest level that they can to this point. And the next jump is going from travel ball to Division I softball. And that can be different for each and every one of them. But I really like their character, and I think they all bring something to the table that we won't know until a year from now or 2 years from now how they develop. And same thing with this freshman class. I mean, I've boasted a lot about their athleticism, but you can be a good athlete and still not be able to have the database that you need to play this game at the very highest levels. And that's kind of what we're trying to see right now. But I've had a chance to watch them make adjustments each day in our inter squad games, and I've just been really impressed with their ability to kind of fit in. And a lot of times you can kind of look out there and you kind of see the freshmen kind of stick out like a sore thumb. And truthfully, this fall we put two good teams on the field, and it was fun to be able to inter squad, because I think those were better games than what we would have gotten if we would have played outside competition during the fall. So I think it's going to help them develop. I think it gives us a better indication on what they really can do at this level. And so, yeah, I'm very pleased with them, and I'm very pleased with the group that's coming in. I think, they're going to be able to add to this group. And you lose those 7 seniors, and we call them super seniors right now, but that's a pretty solid core. I mean, the thing that they bring is they've done it. They've been there. They've handled the pressure. We know what they can do in big game situations, and that's what you don't know about freshmen, and you don't know about this incoming class, how they're going to react.
Up next is Jacob from the Arizona Daily Wildcat.
What can you say about Taylor McQueen? I mean, how much of an impact has she already made so far? And, how important is it to have her back as a graduate manager?
Well, I think it's, it's always a good addition to have someone that's got the database that she has. I mean, she's playing the game at a very high level right now, still playing the game at a high level. So anytime that you have someone around your program that kids can actually sit down and talk to and ask questions and learn from, I think is huge. I think she's a good addition with Taryn to give her another set of eyes to kind of see where our pitchers are and what kind of adjustments we need to make. But I'm just glad to have Taylor here because, my goal for her really was to add obviously to our program, but to also get her prepared for the Olympic Games. And, for a lot of those kids, it's really hard for them to continue to train because they don't have the opportunities. And so this gives her a chance to train regularly, to be able to throw. She's thrown a lot of batting practice for us. It gives us a left-hander that we wouldn't have to give our kids a chance to see. And, we threw her in our inter squad games because I wanted to see and give our kids an opportunity to see what a lefty looks like. And so it's been a win-win. I'm always glad to have a former player back in our program. And, from Mo Mercado to Taryn to Caitlin I mean, that's kind of the way I've kind of built this program, is to keep it in the family. And we've been blessed to have good players. And luckily, a lot of these players are starting to get into coaching. And I think it's a great thing because I think you're seeing some really good female coaches out there right now because they've been brought up through the game the right way, and they understand the skills and understand what it takes to play the game at a high level.
All right, we'll go to Troy from All Sports Tucson.
So, Coach, when we were at the scrimmage, we noticed Sofia Carroll at short, and you don't see a lot of shortstops with her size and height. Is she going to be moved maybe around the field, or is short her natural position? And what have you seen out of her so far?
Well, shortstop is her natural position, and if you watch her day in and day out, she is very athletic. She moves very well. She's got, I think she's really does a nice job of staying down on ground balls, and she's got quick hands. The thing that she needs to develop probably to play the game at this level is improving her feet. Getting them a little bit quicker. But, when I look at shortstops at this level, I look at someone that can make 100% of the routine plays. And the thing about Sophia is she's going to get the balls that maybe a lot of people don't get to. She'll make a lot of really phenomenal plays, but her biggest thing right now is learning how to be really consistent with the routine play. And I was overall pleased with that. I thought she did a good job, and yeah, she's a big girl, but she moves well, and she's got very, very quick hands. And so time will tell where she'll be. Obviously this year will be a learning year for her with Harper there, but she's really, I think, starting to pick up on things very quickly. And that's the one thing I like about this group. They're students of the game, and they're very quick learners. And so it's been fun to see the progress that they've made even in a couple of months.
Back to Ryan.
So the three freshmen that we're talking to tomorrow all have ties to Tucson. I just want to know if for you, if that has any extra significance for you also and the program as a whole.
Well, we love to keep the best players in Tucson, and that's always been my goal. And I think you have to own you have to own the state of Arizona, for us, you have to own Tucson. And so anytime I can get a local kid here, I think it does nothing but help your program. I know there's a lot of fans that probably are very excited to be able to come out and watch these young ladies perform, and that they belong here. They belong here, and if their skill set's good and they can play at this level, then we definitely try very hard to keep them in Tucson. So I think it's a win-win for all of us to be able to have a local flavor.
And you talked about Carly already, but what have you seen from Devin and Allie?
Okay. Well, Devin was very impressive to me. I mean, very competitive, very quick hands. I didn't really think that she would swing the bat as well as she did this fall, but I tell you what, she's got really good power. She makes good decisions at the plate. She's very aggressive, can hit the ball to all fields. She's very athletic and very competitive, and I think you even see that when she's in the circle. She will compete like crazy to try to get you. And so I've been overly pleased with her because, number one, she's probably our hardest thrower out there right now. And she just needs to learn how to spin the ball and move the ball a little more, because hitters at this level will catch up to speed. It's being able to keep people off balance. And so I think that's her next step is to increase her spin on her pitches so that she gets more break. But I think she's got really a chance of being a really good player at this level. She reminds me a little bit of a Nancy Evans. Of course, Nancy was pretty special because she was a shortstop and a pitcher. You don't see many of those anymore, but I think Devin's athletic enough that she can play another position when she's not pitching, but she definitely can hit at this level. And I'm just really happy about her competitiveness. And I think Allie Skaggs is another one that has really good power. I mean, for her size, she puts a charge on the ball. And again, I was really impressed that they were able to hit good pitching, because sometimes you see kids in batting practice and they can show you the power, but you look for the power when the game's on the line and we're actually got a pitcher in the circle. And these kids really, I think, had some really good at-bats throughout the fall. And Allie is a great team player, very vocal, very active. She will continue to get better in the infield. I think, if there's one thing that she needs to work on, and we know that, is just her ability to cover a little more ground. But she's in the right place at the right time, which is good. And second base to me is probably the toughest position on the field to play, because you have a lot of responsibility. And I thought she did a really good job.
PJ?
So you talked a little bit about pitching, but that's another thing that we saw in the scrimmage that sort of stood out to me, is how strong your young pitching was. We know that Mariah and your aces are your aces, but where do you think your young pitching stands right now? And are you sort of happy with where they are and where you think they'll go?
Yeah, I think every one of them, the thing I like about them is they all have good work ethic. So, that's something that you have to improve in this game, because you have to have a passion to go out there and do the little things. And, you can sit in the bullpen all day and get nothing done, but there's got to be a purpose. And I think all of these kids understand that. They all want to get better. And I think they have the initial tools to be able to pitch at this level and do very well. And so, I was very, very impressed and very pleased with our pitchers. Although the fall's awfully tough on me, because you know, you want your hitters to look good and you want your pitchers to look good. And so when the hitters look good, you're thinking, God, how's our pitching doing? You know, and if our pitchers are shutting us down, we're going, geez, are we going to be able to hit the ball this year? So it's a double-edged sword for me at this time, but I did see that that we have what it takes and we have some depth. I think that's, if there's one thing on this team right now across the board, is just quality depth. And I really believe this year with the pandemic and what we're dealing with, depth's going to be very important, because I think it's going to be the team that can stay healthy, the team that can control their own bubble and be on the field as much as possible. But on any given weekend, as you can see right now, the games that are being canceled, I think depth's going to be important. If someone goes down, you have to have someone that can step up and you don't lose a lot. And I think the one thing that I liked and what I saw this fall is that we have quality depth in the outfield, the infield, behind the plate, and in the circle. And so, you know, right now I'm feeling about as good as I have after a fall for a long time.
Troy?
Coach, you kind of alluded, you know, to depth and staying healthy, staying on the field for this upcoming season. Looking ahead with scheduling, I know Coach Adia Barnes is having a hard time filling out the non-conference. What's that been like for you guys? Where are you on the schedule aspect?
Well, it's a really good question, and I wish I had a really good answer for you, but I don't, because we are kind of on hold waiting for the Pac-12 to come down with what their protocols are going to look like for us to play non-conference games. And to be honest with you, we have a full schedule. I mean, we are, if our schedule goes the way it is, it'll be great. But there's still some question marks as far as those multi-team tournaments that are not on college campuses that are going to be kind of the question mark for me, you know, and so I'm hoping once we get these other sports going that, because baseball and softball are they're quote a medium risk sport, and we know what the high risk sports, we know what the protocols look like there, we know what the low risk sports look like, but we don't really know what ours are yet. And so we're kind of waiting on that. I have another Pac-12 call next week that I hope we get closer to the answers that we need. But right now we're scheduling and we've got a good schedule. We've got, I think, a good home schedule. We've got a couple of tournaments that are the ones that I'm really concerned about right now, because a lot's going to depend on what other conferences do also. You know, I think the Big Ten has already gone to an all conference schedule, which is not good news for us. So I don't know what the atmosphere is going to look like at the Mary Nutter, which is usually a really big tournament for us with a lot of different teams from around the country. And then we're scheduled to open up in Irvine with Oklahoma, Mississippi State, Northridge, LMU, and ourselves in Irvine, California. And we don't know what's going to happen yet with that tournament. So hopefully we'll have some answers, but we're scheduling, we're booking hotels and booking flights and preparing to go.
Anybody else? Oh, go ahead, Ryan.
What differences were there this fall, just in, like, you're talking about the protocols, like what kind of things did you guys do to stay safe?
Well, you know, I mean, the obvious, wearing a mask as much as we needed to. The great thing about softball is that we do have some social distancing most of the time. But if you came out and watched, you know, the umpire, the catcher, the hitter, and then when you got on base, you had to put on a mask. And then when you're in a dugout. So I think for us, it's just been making sure that we hold all of ourselves accountable to follow the protocols that we need to. And then you didn't see this, but during practices, after we get done with batting practice, we'd have to spray all the balls down and spray the dugouts down. And, you know, I think our Bruce, who is our trainer, did a heck of a job of kind of coordinating all of that to try to keep kids as healthy as we can and keep us moving forward. And our managers, you know, those guys that you never see or talk about, but those guys work their tails off to allow us to get on the field and practice every day. And so it's gone, it's been from the top down. I mean, from our medical staff at the very beginning to get us to a point we were testing twice a week, which I felt really good about, that, we could keep our thumb on it. And I think my biggest challenge right now is going to be when they leave at Thanksgiving and come back in January, because if there's another outbreak that happens, you just don't know. And, at the beginning, you just, I was one of those guys that was kind of skeptical about all of this, and, how really bad is it? Is it worse than the flu, but, yesterday we lost a really good friend of our athletic department, and the gentleman that built Hillenbrand Stadium, Russ Nyman, passed away with COVID. And that kind of hits you, I mean, he wasn't in his 60s. This is a guy that was in his late 30s, early 40s. So it is real. And I think our kids understand it. I mean, they've all bought in, they know what they have to do, but still, you just never know, especially during these holidays, who you're going to be around. And so you have to almost be a little bit selfish to keep yourself in a bubble. I mean, Tina and I are talking right now about our normal Christmas holidays and our normal Thanksgiving holidays, and what we're going to have to do to maybe change things, because my family in the Phoenix area is huge. And, we have a Christmas event and we got 50 people there. And I just don't know if that's going to be able to happen this year. And the big thing is, I want to make sure that nothing happens between Thanksgiving and the time we get back on the field in January.
Anyone else have any other questions for Coach Candrea? Well, thank you guys. Thank you all for coming. I will see some of you tomorrow at 1:30.
Yeah, and it was really, really good to have all of you guys out. That was fun for everyone, because it's so different when you're practicing every day and there's no one there, and we're not used to that. And so that's going to be I think one of the big challenges when we start playing is, what our fans are going to look like. And I'm just praying and hoping that we get a chance to have some fans, because it's a very, very big part of our game, and as it is to every sport. But it was fun having you guys out there, and I'm glad you got a chance to get a sneak peek of this group, because to me, they've been a very special group to work with this fall, and just really happy about who they are and what they represent.
Well, thanks, Coach.
Hey,
Thanks, Coach.
you got it. I got to get off this building now. You guys have a good day.
You
All right,
two
see you
have a
guys.
good one.
Bye.
Take care.